Greetings, fellow gamer girls. It's your edgy furry SlayerCoon here. Um, so yeah, DeltaRune, the hotly anticipated sequel to Undertale, a game you might have heard and may have not heard about. I felt like playing this game because it brings a it makes me think of this very interesting subject matter that I'll get into once I start playing the game. This game has been taking the internet by storm since it's a Toby Fox game. Anything that he releases will take the internet by storm. This game was released for free, and honestly, I should have paid actual money for this game, because it is great. So I think we shouldn't delay any further. We should get into the game, because it's a good game. It's a great game. The funny thing is I've never actually played Undertale, so if I make any sort of mistakes, if I make any mistakes regarding lore to the Undertale mythos, excuse me. Alright. So I've already played this game before. I spent about 2 hours playing it, so pretty short, to be honest. I've played way longer games, but I honestly prefer games that are short and sweet than just long and drawn out. What is your favorite Slayer song? I don't have one. But yeah, this game is free, so you can just look it up online and play it. You don't have to pay anything, not a single cent. So if you're poor like me, that means you get a very good game for free. It's a good way to waste an afternoon if you have nothing to do. I'm using a PlayStation 4 controller to play this game because using a keyboard is so freaking clunky. What I find funny about it is that it uses the circle button to confirm, whereas normally games will use the X button. But I think that it's trying to be styled after a Nintendo game, so it kind of makes sense there. But I really do want to play Undertale, because as of recently, Undertale has been making a comeback. Back in 2016, a lot of people really didn't like Undertale. Mainly because they thought the game was overhyped, they thought the game was a ripoff of Earthbound, or one of the dumbest criticisms, in my opinion, the game was too popular and the fan base was bad. So they basically were judging the game off of the fan base, and not the game itself, which is pretty stupid. I've played Earthbound before, and I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as this game. I don't think Earthbound quite lived up to the hype. But back to Undertale. There was this really stupid thing. People compared Undertale and FNAF like they were somehow games that should be compared. Both of them were popular indie games, but there is a pretty big difference between the two, as in FNAF is a game that had like 4 sequels in a year, and the gameplay was barren and empty. There was barely anything to do. Whereas Toby Fox's Undertale and Deltarune show true artistic merit. And the fact that he released this for free is very telling of the sign that he does it for the art and not for the attention. I love how you have an option to choose a bunch of legs and they are all the same. There is like no difference between these legs. It's so stupid. And by the way, you don't have any choice in this game. You'll see. And also, in hindsight, I don't think the Undertale fanbase was quite as bad as everyone said it is. I can think of way worse fanbases, but I'll get into that later. Seriously, if you judge a game based off of its fanbase, you're not a very good critic. Because FNAF had a terrible fanbase, but the problem was that the core game wasn't good. None of the FNAF games are good. Someone's asking what anime do I like the most? Dog Remakes for Diarrhea and Vomiting. That's my favorite anime. I watch it all the time. It's my favorite hentai. Also, Blue's Clues is good. I'm 20 years old and I still watch Blue's Clues, and there's nothing you can do about it. Name your vessel. I'm just gonna name it after myself, cause, it doesn't matter in the end. Spoiler alert. Can I type the word raccoon, or is there not enough characters? Because I am a raccoon. Yes, Sans makes an appearance at the latter part of the game. See what I said about there being no choice? This opening was so pointless, and I love it. I love how pointless it was. There are CDs under the bed. You remember CDs? I can't wait until hipsters make CDs cool in like 15 or so years. There's also a game console. It has one normal controller and one knockoff one. Hopefully it's not the N64. The N64 is such an overrated console. If you watched my PS1 review, you would know that I'm not the biggest fan of the N64. What that has to do with Deltarune or Undertale, I don't know. I just like being controversial. Okay, if you name yourself Gaster, the game crashes. That's a odd Easter egg. I've never tried that. It's a pointless cactus. If you want to know what my favorite console is, I don't necessarily have one, but the consoles I have the best memories of are the Super Nintendo, because I once played that as a hand-me-down from one of my relatives, and the PlayStation consoles 1 through 3. I own a PlayStation 4, but it's collecting dust at the moment. I don't necessarily like it that much. What is your real first name? Not important. My name is not important. That cat has no arms. He has one arm. Yeah, my name is Bob. Bob the Builder. My name is Sans Undertale. The weirdest thing about Undertale haters is how they can possibly think the games they like are good in comparison to the creations of Toby Fox. I remember one time I came across this cringe compilation, like this Undertale cringe compilation, and at the end of the video, the kid who made it followed it up with some gameplay commentary in the style of Leafy is Here, and in the background footage was some Call of Duty game, so I find it very hypocritical how that kid could have thought that Undertale's a bad game when the game you're playing is basically just a multiplayer circle jerk of racist teenagers. Undertale is a true work of art, and so is DeltaRune, and Toby Fox is our Lord and Savior. Also, Fortnite. Fortnite is not a bad game necessarily, and I will not judge it upon its fan base. In fact, I won't judge it at all because I've never played it, and I have no desire to play it. I, however, can understand why people may not like it, because having to see a game everywhere you go gets tiring. People call that being a hipster, but let's be honest. If you were exposed to the same thing every day, like 10 times a day, you'd get tired of it. I think the name of that channel I was speaking of was Cringecore. I remember making a video on that channel and then deleting it less than a day afterwards. But I do, however, have a video from this year on cringe culture. I do not like first-person shooters in general, unless it's like Fallout New Vegas or Doom. That's the only two I can think of, and Half-Life. That's a decent game. It's just that I prefer my games to be cartoony and full of personality. I've only played Doom once, and it was some really bad demo version off of Newgrounds that contained the first 4 levels. And it also lacked the killer soundtrack, so I had to supplement that with a YouTube video. That's as far as it's gone, but yeah. The Doom soundtrack is amazing. And if you want to know what my opinion on the soundtrack for this game is, it's amazing. I'll be sure to be blasting these sick beats. This game is full of slammin' jams. SlayerCoon is gay. I knew a kid in class who used to eat glue, and there was another kid who ate paper. I wonder if he got his knowledge by eating books. Oh, and there's also another kid who ate pencils. Like, he'd just chew on pencils. And one time he got a splinter in his mouth. So, moral of the story, don't eat pencils. I'm not talking enough. One time I ate a pencil and died. Rest in peace. That's so sad, I cry every time. Bleach, that's so funny. I love Bleach. Bleach jokes are the funniest jokes ever. So funny. Susie's a great character. I love edgelord characters. It really appeals to me. I'm glad to see that this live stream's actually going well. For those who missed my last live stream, you're not missing much. It was a month ago. It lasted all of like 30 minutes because my town's internet sucks. Rick the Desert Fox asks, do you like electro house music? I don't listen to a lot of electronica music. I grew up in the early 2000s and listened to a lot of techno music. A lot of early PlayStation games had techno music in them, so I kind of have a soft spot for that genre of electronica. If you don't know, my name's SlayerCoon, which means I like a lot of metal music. It's been like my favorite genre of music since I was 10. I can't believe people still remember those fetish video rants I made. Those videos aren't good. I was considering making a video on games that get unnecessary hate, considering I've recently gotten to reviews. I think it would be an interesting subject matter, because a lot of games people will ignore because they perceive the fan base to be bad, considering that's what cringe culture has led people to believe. But I'm busy at the moment, and I don't have many videos in the works. Are you actually gay? Kind of. Like, I'm about, like, 50 or 60% gay. Also, I was actually considering making a video on high-selling games that nobody talks about. If you don't know, I made a video on Gran Turismo 2. Nobody watched it because my channel's dead, but it's a game that sold 9 million copies, yet not many people on the internet talk about it. I love this little face in the wall. It looks like a puppy's face. It looks like a puppy that's crying because its mother just died. Like, about a month back, I was making a really big deal about my videos not performing well. Honestly, I don't care anymore. Like, the real reason you should make YouTube videos is you make videos that you're satisfied with and you have fun making. A lot of YouTubers at the moment, and I'm talking about, like, big YouTubers, people who have like 4 million subscribers are getting mad because their videos are only getting 1 million views. Which, if I had 4 million subscribers and I got 1 million views, that's enough for me. Just because it's not the entirety of my audience doesn't mean that that's necessarily a bad thing. And also, as someone pointed out in the chat, this game was made in GameMaker. I have quite the history with GameMaker. Like, the GameMaker website originally had this, like, browsing section where you could find all these games that people who were, like, 13 years old had made. And I used to play those a lot just because they were an interesting curiosity. They were so bad, but they were fun because of that. So, considering Toby Fox made one of the best games of all time with such a limited game creation studio, you have to give him credit for that. I was considering making a video on this game, but I don't think I have much to say about it. It's good. You can hear the breathing. Yeah, my microphone sucks. Yes, hold X to run. Oh no, it's the Ace of Spades. Someone turn on Motorhead's Ace of Spades. Someone get the boombox out. Alright. I dare you to do a rant on me. I don't do rants on obscure users. Sorry. I'm not planning on making many videos in general, as of recently. I just don't find it fun to make videos as much, but I do plan on live streaming more. If I get Undertale, I will play some of it. Like, I've gotten like 100 different requests from people to, for me to rant on their own channels, and it's always on people with like 50 subscribers. As someone with 10,000 subscribers, I find that to be very cheap and almost Leafy-like. Like, that's something Leafy is Here would have done. And the last thing I want to be compared to is Leafy is Here, which I actually have been compared to. I think it's a pretty unfair comparison, because me and Leafy are like nothing alike, but yes, channels with 50 subscribers are asking me to rant on their channels. Also, like, Bad YouTubers is still on hiatus, and I've got like a month or two to go until it returns. And I don't plan on doing it as much from here on out. Bad YouTubers does not interest me anymore, and I find it to be overly negative and not fun to make anymore. Especially if back when I was doing it like once every month. Jazz is good and you shouldn't be ashamed for liking it. So no, Desert Fox. Jazz is good. What the hell is Chicken Invaders? Am I missing out on something? Is that a game that I just missed out on? DeltaRune. They said it. They said DeltaRune. God, this game's soundtrack is so awesome. I like to eat potatoes raw. Skip it. Alright. I can't skip this cutscene. You aren't supposed to skip cutscenes. It contains vital story information, and you are illiterate for ignoring that. Play Don't Shit Your Pants. That's a game from like 10 years ago. I remember that. That's off of Newgrounds. Seriously, if you play a game the first time and you skip the story, you are missing out on something very important. Unless the game is bad. I used to skip cutscenes a lot as a kid because I had, like, crazy ADHD and I just didn't like paying attention. I was also terrible at video games when I was a kid, but I've made my way up the ranks and now I am the #1 gamer in the world. I need to get a PS2. That is the greatest console of all time. If I do that, you can expect some PS2 game reviews in the future. Expect them by next year. I'm going to be working my first proper job in a couple of weeks or so, and I should have the money to buy something. I've never played Undertale, so I can't necessarily compare the battle system between the two games, but I noticed that the interface is different. And I think it's a very fun battle system. Like, this game has RPG elements to it, but it does not go way too overboard with them. Jacob Wilborn asks, do you play Paper Mario? No, I haven't. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but I don't think I've ever owned a console that had a Paper Mario game on it. I'm just an unfortunate soul. Okay, Daniel, the PS2 is kind of overrated. I like it, but I don't think it's perfect. And I don't really think it's similar to the N64 in hardware. It's, more powerful by quite a bit. The reason I think the PS2, is deserving of the praise is because I think it has the right balance of games. If you're a casual dude bro gamer, there's something in there for you, like sports games. If you're someone like me, you have Gran Turismo and you have Sly Cooper and all sorts of stuff. So I think it's a perfect balance console. But at the end of the day, nothing is perfect. who plays games? Well, I'll tell you who. People who... I play games because I'm a real gamer, and I don't know why you have a swastika as an avatar, Mind Out of Sync. That's... I have no idea why you chose that, but... Sports sucks. Play video games instead. I noticed that some people prefer the GameCube over the PS2. One of my favorite YouTubers of all time, Scott the Woz, is one of those people. I have never played the GameCube, but I had a cousin who owned one. And growing up in the early 2000s, I never thought the GameCube was a cool thing. Like, I thought it was a shit console when I was younger, because, well, I didn't like the way it looked, I didn't like the way the controller looked. But, weirdly enough, the GameCube has a much bigger audience nowadays than it did in, like, the 2000s. Like, the nostalgia has really kicked in. And, considering the fact the GameCube was cheaper than the PS2, I think, I don't think I would have been missing out. I think I would have been, like, missing out had I not bought a GameCube in the 2000s, and I didn't buy one. However, I really wanted a PS2 when I was younger. I never got one, so I had to wait until 2008 when I got a DS and a Wii. I was still playing the PS1 a lot back then. I am such an out-of-date relic of the past. Oh, by the way, my older brother actually owned an OG Xbox when I was younger. And I got to play it once, but he didn't own it for long because some of my relatives, borrowed it and ended up destroying it. I have terrible family members. So, a word of advice, if you have family members who are like drug addicts or something, don't let them get a hand of your consoles. I know this from experience. I have a family that's like, a lot of them are on drugs, and anytime you give them a video game console, they will always end up destroying it. How would you feel if somebody blocked you? I wouldn't care. I have a life outside of the internet. TP, that's toilet paper, right? You can give me an OG Xbox? Well, I don't, like, I don't really let people give out, like, mail me stuff at the moment. If I had a larger audience, I might let someone do that. I have no desire to buy an original Xbox. It's too big of a console for my house. It's just so big and clunky. By the way, I also don't need an original Xbox, because the Xbox 360 is backwards compatible with Xbox games. And if I manage to get, like one of those hard drives that you can insert into your 360, I can just play Xbox games, backwards compatible and all. I own an Xbox 360 that I got back in Christmas of 2011, and it's a really funny story. I got the 360 as opposed to the PS3 because in my school, the 360 was, like, slightly more popular with the people I hung out with. But one of my best friends owned a PS3, and I honestly am way more nostalgic for the PS3 than the 360. It's just a much cooler console. I think it's better, in my opinion. I do not have an Instagram. No, I don't. Do you have the new Spider-Man game? No, I don't. I don't really have much interest in it. Like, for instance, I think the PS3, like the original PS3 model, is one of the best looking consoles of all time. You know. And I think it has a better interface than that ugly green that pretty much every Xbox console uses. Not a fan of that ugly green color. Who doesn't love this music? This right here is my jam. I know you guys can't see this right now, but I am currently dancing to the music. Because these are my jams. So I think I have a new game whose OST I can use in my videos. Thanks, Toby Fox. I am not talking enough. God. I was never the most talkative person in school. I'm still a quiet fella. I don't know if I've been around this path before. I've only played this game once. This is my second playthrough. You know who is the best YouTuber, SlayerCoon? I don't know. I watch like 6 YouTubers now. I need to pay attention or I am going to die. No, Allier is not a good YouTuber. I've known how shitty he was long before it became cool to hate on him. Like, I remember one time, back in 2014, I watched an entire Let's Play of him playing, like, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and I have no idea why I did that. I think I did it because I hated myself, and I wanted to inflict physical pain on my, you know, my soul. So I just watched an entire Let's Play of him, and it wasn't good. Yay, puzzle time. Allier has been on YouTube for like 6 or so years. I don't know. It's weird. People only now hate him, but like, what were people expecting from a Call of Duty YouTuber? Like, are you expecting something state-of-the-art? I'm not. And apparently people hate his intro. I guess I can understand that too. Most intros on YouTube suck. Either they're overly long or they use some terrible dubstep music. If there's one kind of gaming YouTube channel I can't stand, it's the one that's dedicated to playing a single kind of game. Like, there's no variety in channels that just play Fortnite or Call of Duty or whatever. My favorite kind of gaming channel are the ones that review nostalgic games, something that I can personally relate with. I miss Team Fortress 2. I think it's a shame that the game isn't as popular as it once was. Like, ever since like Overwatch came out and then Fortnite, the game has just not been as much as a household name as it used to be. Because I have a lot of memories of TF2. It was once like my favorite game ever, and I played like hundreds of hours of it. And also, TF2 brought us a lot of funny memes. It was just a great time back in TF2's heyday. Even if the fan base made way too much of a big deal over what hat you wore, like that somehow mattered. Seriously though, TF2 is, like, way better than Overwatch or Fortnite. It's the best first-person shooter game ever made, in my opinion. Why is someone spamming random letters? F. D. Is that the grade you got on your report card or something? Alright guys, I'm going to take a short break. I might be back in 3 or so minutes, so excuse this short moment of silence. I have returned. Okay. Not the biggest fan of some of the puzzles in these games, but I guess they're excusable. Is Fortnite or Black Ops 4 better in your opinion? Neither of those games are good. I'm a real gamer and I only play real games. I've never played Minecraft before, funnily enough. I was going to pirate Minecraft back in 2012, but, I was afraid that the FBI was going to arrest me for doing that, so, yeah. But I think it's kind of a shame I never played Minecraft, because Minecraft's a legitimately good game, it's just that the YouTubers surrounding it aren't that good. Best boss battle ever. That was the best 5 seconds of my life. F. F. I've never been inside this shop. Candy. Yes, I want diabetes. I do not need any tutorials. I've played this game before, and now I have mastered the world of DeltaRune. Slayer bought 30 candy bars and he ate 25 of them. What does he have now? I have diabetes. Candy isn't good for you, but it tastes good, so I guess I might as well just eat it. Every time I eat sugary candy, I can feel myself dying inside, because I know what I am eating is killing me. It's like drugs. Kind of. It feels good, but it's not good for you. And all it does is rot your teeth out and make you fat. No Vor. Vor is bad. Vor is bad. I wonder who invented the concept of Vor. Check out the enclosed instruction book. What is your opinion on Elder Scrolls V Skyrim? I played it once for about 4 hours and found it to be very disappointing. Skyrim does not live up to the hype. Oh, the GTA franchise. I've discussed this many times on my channel. I used to be a huge GTA fan as a teenager. However, that interest has dissipated quite a lot. GTA 5 is very disappointing in hindsight. The YouTube community surrounding it is just terrible, and even the games that I grew up with in the series aren't as good as they used to be. It's weird, like, mature games in general, I've lost quite a bit of interest in. It's weird, as a kid, I thought I would grow up to be someone who only played manly games, like, you know, GTA and whatnot, but now here I am as a 20-year-old, and I'm playing, like, Spyro and DeltaRune. It just goes to show you, the older you get, the younger you want to be. Which games do you have more fun with? Rated E, T, or M? Well, that just depends. I'm not the kind of guy who normally likes to play games where you rip people's heads off. Not because I have an aversion to gore or anything, but, you know, just because mature games have become way too oversaturated in recent times. So I think E-rated games are kind of refreshing, as long as they have some sort of substance to them. But yeah, most of the games I play are like E through T. I don't play a lot of mature rated games like all the time. Not because I hate them, it's just I prefer games that are more colorful and vibrant. I wouldn't say GTA is a bad game. The only bad GTA games are there's a port of the original GTA game for the Game Boy Color, which is quite horrible. But the GTA games, by and large, are good games that are just overhyped and don't live up to their name. The thing about Overwatch is I thought it was overhyped from the second people on the internet started just going crazy over it. I knew that it wouldn't live up to all the praise it got. Like, I just have no interest in that kind of stuff. I don't think it's a bad game, I just think, like, Overwatch, I had a very similar reaction to. The same kind of reaction certain people had to Undertale when it became a big hit. And I guess a lot of it was because of the fan base, because Overwatch has a terrible fan base. That's something I've been wanting to say for a long time, like, just any kind of multiplayer shooter game in general, they tend to have pretty bad fan bases. I'm noticing a lot of comments about Fortnite in this stream. That seems to be the only thing people in the gaming community can talk about, whether it's positive or negative. In my opinion, I just want to ignore the game. Like, who cares? Aesthetic. I think I might end off this stream in about 30 or so minutes. Don't want to play the entirety of the game. If you want to watch an entire playthrough, there are plenty of those. I've played this game for an hour and 40 minutes and an hour and 4 minutes and 23 seconds. I miss when Let's Plays were informative. Like, I remember Let's Plays used to be pretty informative, but like nowadays, you don't get that. Oh my god, I need to pay attention. Okay. In general, I think Let's Plays, the general original style of Let's Plays, are pretty much dead. I tried looking up a couple of, like, the original people who still do the 100-part Let's Play style, and I'm finding a lot of channels that have, like, 5,000 subscribers, yet they get 5 views on their videos within a week. That's how bad, Let's Plays in the general sense perform. Nowadays, you don't do 100 parts of a game. You just do, like, you do the first 30 minutes of it and you make a bunch of corny jokes. If that's the new style of Let's Play, and I can't say it's a bad thing. Like, the way Game Grumps or Oni Plays do it, they normally don't play the entirety of the game. I don't even think the Game Grumps played the entirety of Sonic 06. I remember that being, like, a major thing for their channel. Like, Let's Plays nowadays are just, basically funny moments. Compilations. I have North Korea as my, location on YouTube as an inside joke. But the funny thing is, if you set your country of, like, origin to, like, North Korea on YouTube, you can't get monetized because monetization isn't available there. I don't think that necessarily matters, because, like, I don't think I'd get monetized anyways. If I wanted to make money off of YouTube, I would open up a Patreon. If I get back into regularly making videos, I might do that. once I defeat this boss, I will be ending the stream. I think an hour and 30 minutes is long enough for a stream. Will I ever become a major sellout? If I start, like... I can't imagine myself doing anything that the mainstream YouTubers are doing. I think that was a real milk sprite. I don't know if there's any, like, I don't know what brand it is. I'm not a milk expert. I'll have to pay attention the next time it appears. I do think that was a real milk brand. I don't know if you can tell easily because they pixelated it. Considering this game is kind of a homage to SNES RPGs. Will I be streaming the rest of DeltaRune eventually? Maybe tomorrow. I might do that tomorrow. Overtail. Underwatch. Underwatch. I love how similar that shrinking sound is to the Mario, the sound effect in Super Mario whenever you get hit and you shrink down to small Mario. It sounds almost exactly like it, except lower. Like a lower pitch. Join the dark side. Yes, Susie. Overtail and Underwatch. DeltaRune. Star Wars is bad. Okay, so considering there's a save point here, I think this is the perfect place to end off the stream. That's nearly 80 minutes of this game being played. I think that's good enough time frame for this stream. So I wish you guys a good night. I've got to get going now. I will probably continue the rest of this game tomorrow. So, you guys have a good one. Be sure to check in tomorrow at about the same time as this stream, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll see you guys.